Okay, good morning, everyone. I think we've got everyone on the webinar now. So welcome, and on behalf of Servium, my name is Steve Dawes. I'm the Services Director, and welcome to the next of Season 2 of INOOT. I need one of those. Hopefully everyone's got their crunchies who registered early. So it's 10 o'clock, put your feet up, relax. And today's all about helping you identify new technologies in the marketplace, things that we think are groundbreaking, and also about creating great experiences. So today is all about HP Device as a Service, but a little bit deeper look because we've already done a previous webinar. So I'd like to welcome Ryan Walker and Joseph Bruntz, who joined us today. Good morning, gents.
Morning. Hi, Steve.
So we've got quite international today. Ryan's in London and Joseph is in Switzerland. So again, a true test of technology. So thanks for joining. Today, more importantly, 19th of July, let's look back in history. So for Queen fans, Brian May was born on this day. In 1969, a lot of publicity around this in the press. Apollo 11 went into moon orbit, ready for the landing 50 years ago. Tomorrow. In 1980, the 22nd Summer Olympics was opened in Moscow. And in 1997, IRA declared a ceasefire in Northern Ireland. So a little bit of history there, but like I say, more importantly for us, it's INOOT around device as a service. So you'll be able to ask questions during at the end of the webinar, and also we'll be doing a poll. The recording of this webinar will be published later on today, and it will also go on our YouTube channel for future reference. So if you've got any colleagues you want to share it with, then please feel free to share the link that you'll get later today. So without further ado, I'll start proceedings. And today as well, we've got a live demonstration. So this is really going to test the technology as well. But just a little bit of background for those who don't know Servium. Like I said, we're all about creating great experiences with our customers. We put you at the center of everything we do and what you do. So we believe we've got great account management. We've got superb customer services. We've got great CSATs that constantly we excel at. And even though we tackle business usual sort of strategies and challenges, we're there to add value around particular areas around groundbreaking technology such as DaaS. So our whole approach really is to understand what your challenge is and help you throughout the life cycle of that. But particularly more important is that at the end of a project, no matter how small or large, we review it and make sure we've delivered the experience you're expecting on time and within budget. To do that, we have our services ecosystem, which is market leading, best of breed, technology, technologists, architects, resource that you have access to as our customers. So again, we've delivered a number of DaaS projects, and we've used partners to help us deliver that successfully. So on our Servium Pathfinder, which again is about helping you find the right solution, today it's all about workspace and how DaaS sort of sits in that space. So Ryan, I'm going to hand over to you, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you.
And I'll let you go into detail now around the HP DaaS solutions.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Steve. Ta. So first and foremost, I guess before I start, I want to talk a little bit what about device as a service is and what does that mean to you, the customer. So first and foremost, within HP, we take security very, very seriously. We spend an awful lot of time and effort around some of the key differentiators in the market against our competition will be based around the security solutions and the device as a service analytics software solution that we offer against the main competitors in the market. So before I go on to DaaS, I just want to talk about one slide around HP Sure. HP Sure is a broad range of security solutions that come available free of charge on the HP EliteBook and EliteDesk product range. So it's our premium product range. And these will help you, the customer, from a security point of view in a number of ways. So I know if I look at the first slide here, on the left-hand side, the HP SureStart, it's the world's first self-healing BIOS. So when we manufacture the product, it takes like a gold build of that BIOS setting, and therefore if you get any malicious attacks from a malware solution, and it might be a zero-day attack that maybe your antivirus solution doesn't pick up, which is quite often the case, if it starts attacking the BIOS, then the HP SureStart will recognize that it's attacking the BIOS, and it will revert back to the original gold BIOS build because it notices that there's something untoward going on in the BIOS. Okay, so it's something very, very simple, but actually could be very, very critical. It will also quarantine that machine on the network to prevent that machine and that malware attack then spreading across the infrastructure within your network. So it quarantines that machine on your network. And then if we look over onto the right hand side, on the far right over to HP SureView, I know that we've got some companies on the phone this morning on the webinar that are in the sort of legal sector, finance, legal solicitor type organizations. Then we do something called HP SureView, and this is a built-in integrated privacy screen filter, so that if you're working in a public hotspot, be it on the train, in a hotel, anything of that nature, coffee shop or whatever it would be, and you have sensitive information on that screen and display that you don't want anybody else in that coffee shop or that hotel for you to view or see, you can simply press the F2 function key and it turns on the privacy screen filter, and you can press F2 to turn it back off again. So it's a unique way of just giving you an integrated built-in privacy screen filter, again, that's built into the premium range of HP EliteBook laptop and mobile devices. If I move across to HP SureClick, this again is a secure web browsing solution that's based upon Internet Explorer. So every time you click on Internet Explorer, it runs a virtual machine in the background, so that again, if any web-based attacks and hacks come into your individual machine when browsing the web, it only attacks the virtual machine and not your actual machine. And then every time you close that web browser, it closes that virtual machine and everything that goes with it. So again, it's a way of preventing your physical actual machine being attacked when you're over the web. So just a few things around the security, because like I say, it is one of our main differentiators, and all of these solutions are free of charge on the HP Premium Class product. So in terms of what is HP Device as a Service, it means many things to many people, and you will always get a different perception from lots of people. My perception and my understanding of Device as a Service is to take the customer on a journey whereby we are moving you, the customer, from typically a reactive mode of operation, whereby, you know, the first time you know of a battery failing or a hard drive failing or a CPU failing on your laptop or mobile desktop estate is typically once the calls hit the first line support desk. Okay, the whole purpose behind Device as a Service is to move you, the customer, on a journey from that reactive mode of operation, giving you the tools to become proactively manage all of these components, whether it's a hardware component, whether it's a software component, whether it's the operating system, and then in future make you become more predictive. Because if we can make you become more predictive, it's a way of aggregating the data, be it hardware data, component data, operating system data, software application data, into meaningful reports within our HP TechPulse solution, which in turn you guys in IT can then make informed business decisions about, and it will deliver predictable business outcomes for you individually and for your businesses alike. And that's the most important part around delivering business outcomes. So the whole purpose of this call is to talk about Device as a Service. It's about reducing help desk tickets, help desk costs. It's about moving you from reactive to proactive. It's about identifying, you know, the right devices for the individuals within your business. You'll all have a number of different departments within your business, different functions in marketing and finance and research and development. All of those users have a different set of user personas or different set of user profiles. Some may need an i5 8 gig of RAM to run Windows 10, and that may well be fine. Others may well need 16 gig of RAM, 32 gig of RAM, dedicated graphics cards because of the nature of the application that they're using. Maybe they're using some CAD CAM 3D rendering application, right? They need a 16 gig, 32 gig of RAM, dedicated graphics, multiple drives and storage and so on and so forth. So the whole purpose of this tool is to actually identify the kind of power users within your organization, and therefore if we can identify the power users and understand the applications they're using, we can better fit a device for the appropriate needs of that individual user to make them as productive as possible within the organization you're responsible for managing. Okay, we can also look at areas around enhancing your governance and security. Obviously, I sort of just touched a little bit on some of the security elements as well, but within our DaaS Enhanced and DaaS Premium plans that are fully managed services, then again, we can look at, enforcing antivirus protection, firewall policies, Wi-Fi provisioning, VPN access, and if people have lost or stolen a device or anything like that, which does happen from time to time, or if you have a lot of contractors within your business and the contractors decide to walk off with that device, then we can perform a remote lock, wipe and find, and we can also use geolocation services to find when the device was last logged on and at what location. So there's a number of other areas that we can look at along those lines for you. If we move on to the TechPulse Lifecycle services, so if we look at the analytics, this is about proactively maintaining that hardware and software estate. It's about remediating IT problems before they occur, before they reach the first line support. Yeah, it's about trying to decrease the workload for IT because of the fact that actually if we're identifying the problems before they happen and before they occur, then we can actually decrease the IT workload for you and your colleagues on the help desk. In terms of optimizing IT spend, this is about some clever things that we do with HP Financial Services. HP Financial Services being our natural default because they're part of HP, but you can use other funding providers if you so wished. But they can do some clever things around, the buyback of legacy equipment and legacy assets, offset that old legacy equipment against the cost of new equipment. They will dispose of the legacy hardware at the end of the contract, up to like ISO 27001 accreditations and standards for audit and compliance, which is really good. They do a single disk wipe of the hard drive, and we can provide you a certificate back and everything like that that says that we've wiped the data and everything from a GDPR point of view. So again, looking at security, compliance, audit elements around those are three areas, then we meet all of the criteria there. Ultimately, it's about also improving user productivity. Yeah? If we are proactively managing all of the components within these devices, all of the software application stack and the operating system and things like that from a TechPulse reporting tool, then actually the whole user experience should be far superior than what it is here and now today without any analytical tool being used. Because if we can predict those component failures or a software blue screen error that's regularly occurring, we can identify what the issue is, apply a driver update or a patch update, things like that. That will improve the overall user productivity of that device. And equally, it's about partnering with partners such as Servium on the call today, whereby they can deliver their value-added services. And it could be areas like imaging, asset tagging the device, delivery to desk, disposal, packaging removal, all of those good sites. So we can build all of that into the overall solution proposition to give you an end-to-end solution. Quick just Whistlestop Tour. We have about 15 reports at least within the HP TechPulse that will look something along these lines, and it could be everything from understanding how many desktops and laptops and mobile users you've got in your estate. It could be understanding what operating system that you're running, what versions and variations of operating system that you're running, what your warranty status is of those devices on your network. It's always good to understand what the warranty start dates and end dates and where your assets are within the organization. It's good to understand, obviously, if anybody's battery is kind kind of failing or not performing as it should. You know, if there's a battery swell or it's not charging quite correctly or it's losing charge over time, we'll start highlighting some of these facts and issues so that you can log a support call proactively with HP support, and we can replace that battery, assuming the device is still under warranty, in advance of that component failing. And then looking at things like hard drives and the amount of disk space you've got on hard drives. You know, have you got enough disk space on your existing fleet of devices to migrate and transition to Windows 10? You know, can we help you identify devices that haven't got sufficient memory, haven't got sufficient disk space or processors to run Windows 10? That will help you prioritize where you need to do a hardware refresh in the next sort of 6 months before the end of life of support of Windows 7. And again, just a very quick slide here, looking at some customer data, and this is taken from a real life example of a customer that is running multiple versions of Windows 10. You know, the whole point and the emphasis here is to make sure that all of those Windows 10 machines are brought up to the latest version 1809, and therefore you're keeping them all up to date, all on the same revision, all as secure and as compliant as possibly as what you can from that side of things. And at this point in time, I will also touch on something called TechPulse Integration. So within our analytical reports and solution, we have the ability to link into IT service management platforms. We have a pre-configured and pre-built solution for ServiceNow, because ServiceNow is a very popular solution for many clients in the UK. So we have an out-of-the-box solution that means we can already integrate our TechPulse analytics through an API into ServiceNow, which means we can create a bi-directional call from our TechPulse analytics table straight into your ServiceNow solution, which means it bypasses level 1 support and helps automate the incident call and the incident resolution from that side. So it helps reduce the amount of staff and resources you need on level 1 support if we can bi-directionally and automate some of those calls and some of that incident creation. We can also do this for a number of other platforms like Avanti, Cherwell, Remedy, BMC, and a number of other solutions that are out there on the market. And this is a really good way operationally of saving time, effort, and resources around incident and incident call management. And at this point, I will hand over to my colleague Joseph, who's going to run through some of the TechPulse Analytics reports and demonstrations for the next sort of 10 or 15 minutes.
That's great. Thanks, Ryan.
Brilliant, Ryan. Thanks. Yeah, just a couple of things. We are the latest Win 10 version now is 1903, Ryan. Just so you know.
That's typical as a salesperson for you.
Exactly. Yes, you are a few months late. Never mind.
Sure.
What I will.
Are you ready to share there?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
If you can stop sharing.
There you go.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Here is my turn. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, see that. Perfect.
All right, perfect. So Ryan spoke a lot about what we are able to do on paper. What I want to show you is actually the live demonstration of our capabilities. I believe that it's going to be quite interesting for you to also see our technology and see a live example of the type of reports that we are able to create and generate very quickly in a very simple way, and that are providing you with real insights on your fleet. So what we are looking at right now, it's the hpdaas.com. It's what we call HP TechPulse. Basically, this is an account which is our HP demo account, onto which we have enrolled, as you can see, quite many devices. It's important at this point to say and mention that not only we are supporting Windows, but we are also supporting other OSs, Android, macOS, iOS in a certain way. We can go into a bit more details for iOS later on, and we'll start supporting even Chrome OS starting this September. All right. As Ryan mentioned, yeah, we can drill down in all of those styles and reports, and then have a level of details which is indeed providing me with the information that only one of our demo devices has been updated so far. All right. If I go one step beyond, I will be able to generate immediately some hardware inventory reports in which I will have lots of details on each and every device. The aim for us is to be able to provide deep information on hardware inventory, but beyond that, what's important is to understand the health of the fleet in order to have a baseline, basically, and to be able to improve on that overall health of the fleet by taking proactive measures. By taking proactive measures and predictive, because we do have also predictive analytics. So like here, the battery or the disk have not even failed yet, but we get the analytics, we get the warnings, and we are able to take some proactive measures, proactive actions in order to replace those disks or battery that are due to fail or detected to fail. And if the battery or the disk is still under warranty from HP, then you can get those replacement parts for free. That's what we call really the proactive management. I can walk you through quickly onto the dashboard, but you can see that we have already, quite a lot of things that can be displayed in terms of information, in terms of Windows 10 versions, in terms of devices by OS, also in terms of incidents. I can drill down into each and every incident through this tab. And actually, I want to link this up to what Ryan mentioned just a few seconds ago, was also on the integration capabilities that we do have. As mentioned by Ryan, we do have this ServiceNow out-of-the-box integration, which is possible, but we do have also the option for building your own integration. So if you are not using ServiceNow, which may happen obviously, we are also publishing our APIs starting this September. Our APIs contains every information being contained in TechPulse itself, in the hpdaas.com portal itself, and can be used. So yeah, basically this is extremely powerful for us because you can do some integration towards some ITSM, some ticketing system, but you can also do this integration towards business intelligence systems such as Tableau, Power BI, Qlik, and others. All right, so you can really customize the way you want in your own ecosystem and environment if ever you don't want necessarily to use the hpdaas.com portal. So that's about the integration. Also another level of integration in terms of demonstration. So this is mimicking your ITSM, in this case ServiceNow, but again, you can use the APIs starting September in order to develop your own integration. What we've done as well is that we've done the assets automatic creation within the CMDB. So not to be too technical, but that really helps in order to keep track of the assets and then basically run all the services from your ITSM, having this one, having those assets creation to be fully automated. So we can think about scenarios such as autopilot, then pushing down the HP DaaS application onto each and every device, and then having automatically this link and creation in your ITSM, which is made automatically. All right. So having said that, we've seen a bit of a dashboard, we've seen the incidents, and because I just have a few minutes left, what I can do, and actually the heart of the overall TechPulse solution, are the reporting capabilities. We are able to generate very easily, and actually I just counted down as well. It's not 15, it's more towards 25. So depending on the plans that we have, it's going to be 25 different reports. And actually, even having said that, we have a granularity in there when we go and select those different options in order to see the report in certain ways. So we do have quite a deep level of reports and data that we are able to provide. Obviously, as HP is a hardware manufacturer, we have a much deeper analytics in terms of hardware, but actually, as you can see as well, in terms of all the categories that we are covering, we are also able to generate reports when it comes to software, when it comes to security, and the incidents and the subscription. It's related to the DaaS subscription. Interestingly, and because also I want to relate again once more to what Ryan introduced, we do have security reports that can be generated, such as this one on our sure start technology, the self-healing BIOS. So from TechPulse, we are able to generate activity and basically alerts directly from TechPulse. As you can see, this is a PDF that has been generated. I'm able to generate also Excel reports in Excel or reports in HTML. We are also able, and we have already access to reports, and we are able to generate automatically some reports on the SureClick Advanced activity. This is the micro VM that also helps protect against phishing and malware in attachments. So we do have those informations and alerts that are being reported there in terms of which devices are being protected, which ones are not, and then the type of alerts and threats that the technology helps protect. Then, again, related to what Ryan mentioned, he did a great job at, discussing about all the value proposition around all the different reports. We do have this one, for instance, in terms of CPU and RAM utilization. And actually, the value proposition around this one is to help our customers to right-size their fleets. To right-size the fleet means to help you select the right device for the job, the right device for the users. So here you can see it's a case, obviously, which is extremely favorable, which would be extremely favorable to a real-life customer, because most of those devices are being underutilized. Again, it's an HP demo account. So in this case, I mean, if we had to replace and refresh this fleet, we would probably use some devices that are not so much powerful, since most of the users are not suffering from overutilization. When they are suffering from overutilization, we get also the details in terms of which applications are overutilizing those resources. And for those specific users, we can indeed help them select the right device for the job. We are also improving, starting this September, a lot with this reporting. We'll be adding some new capabilities around GPU, graphic cards, in order to understand more on the utilization. And we'll be adding also more about the notion of timeline, so that we will be able to correlate event incidents with the performance of a device along a timeline. That will help a lot in order to, well, correlate events and try to remediate in certain cases to some basically bad situations. I'm not going to go through all the reports that we are able to provide, but basically we have also things around a BIOS in order to keep the BIOS monitored and managed. We are seeing more and more attacks around the BIOS, so it's important that BIOS is also being managed. As Ryan said as well, we do have analytics around the disk capacity. We have also analytics around Windows 10 hardware compatibility, meaning that if you still have some customers who are still on Win 10, on Win 7 or Windows 8, we can run this analysis in order to understand which devices can potentially be upgraded to Windows 10. We are looking at different criteria, and this is where we are really leveraging big data. We are mixing and correlating data that are coming from Microsoft, that are coming from HP, from Dell, from Lenovo. We are also obviously understanding the utilization of a device, and then we are able to run this algorithm and display in a very simple way in this summary, but also with all the details needed if hardware are being compatible with a Win 10 upgrade. I will stop here.
Okay, that's great, Joe. That's a good deep dive in the limited time that that we've got today. So thanks very much for that. That was really useful. So thank you. We'll take some questions now, ladies and gentlemen. So there'll be a Q&A panel on your screen. Any questions, please put them up there, and between myself, Ryan, and Joseph, we'll attempt to answer those. So first question that's come from David: can HP TechPulse push BIOS updates to devices?
So the answer is no. Really, TechPulse is meant around dashboard analytics and helping simplify and understand, well, what's out of date, what's being critical for update. Then obviously HP has some other tools that can be used in order to push down BIOS updates. Also, interestingly enough, we'll have also the driver inventory and out-of-date reports starting this September. So the solution, what I want to mention here is probably also that the solution is evolving all year long. We have 2 official sales release or commercial release a year, but actually because it's a cloud-based, we are evolving all year long with new reports, new capabilities. I think it's called. Is it HPIA? Ryan?
Can't quite remember off the top of my head.
A quick look, but I believe that the tool name is called HP Image Assistant.
Yeah, probably is Image Assistant off the top of my head.
So again, from David, so tools that can push BIOS and drivers, Joseph, Ryan?
The tool is not pushing down BIOS and drivers update, but it's getting the information and helping take decisions. It's a help for better managing the fleet. I can see. So if you type on Google HP Image Assistant, you will find directly the link in order to get this tool.
So I'm assuming from BIOS point of view, it's probably something like SCCM that will be the sort of tool set that will be used from a point of view pushing BIOS updates and so on.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So a question from Richard: does the analytics require any on-prem infrastructure, servers, and so on, or is it all cloud-based?
No.
No, all cloud-based.
All cloud-based, and from just again sort of related to that, the what sort of size is the of the image of the TechPulse image on a device?
So it's roughly 28 meg. If you go to hpdaas.com/software, you will find actually the application.
Okay. So another question here from Alan. I think it's relating to the demo that's you've done, Joe. So that, does it require a lot of training to sort of implement and do the reporting, or is it quite intuitive?
No, as you can see, I can create in a few clicks the reports. We are trying to make it very simple, very intuitive. Obviously, you do have easy to read reports. We have also a reporting guide so it's a document that can guide you in order to help you read all the reports. But basically, we are trying to make it very easy to use. Very easy to use, yes.
Okay. Sorry, Joseph. The only thing I will add there is we do have a demo program available, which is free of charge to all clients, and we can run the TechPulse Analytics reporting tool free of charge for 90 days and up to 500 devices on that pilot. So if there's anybody on the webinar today that would be interested in taking us up on that option, we can help facilitate that through Servium. Obviously give clients on the call the opportunity to try it, test it in their own environment free of charge without making any kind of commitments either way, if you like.
No, it's great. Well, that's sort of one step ahead of me there, Ryan, because again, for anyone who is interested, when we take the poll at the end, if you would like to enter into the 90-day trial, as Ryan said, it's free of charge, and we'll arrange that for you. So just highlight that on the poll, or just come back to your account manager or myself, and we'll arrange that 90-day free of charge trial. A couple of more questions before we close. One from John in relation to other vendors and devices. So you mentioned that it's not just HP devices, but is the reporting as feature rich, gents, on other vendors' devices?
So from our side of things, obviously the customers will get the better experience on HP devices than they would on non-HP devices, Steve. Typically, all of the predictive reports that we can run on HP on things like batteries, drives, CPU, so on and so forth, we can do all of that predictive on the HP devices, whereby we are less predictive on non-HP devices for obvious reasons. So we can't tell you weeks in advance if a Dell laptop battery is going to fail, because we probably get into a huge amount of hot water with Dell over that particular issue, right? But when the hard drive does fail, it will alert and ping onto the TechPulse reports. But we can do that much more proactively and predictably on the HP components than what we can on non-HP components. And the other areas that we can do on HP that we can't do on non-HP is the warranty status of the device. So again, on the HP devices, we can see all of the start dates, end dates of the warranties, which we cannot on third-party products at this point in time.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ryan. Just a question from Ian in relation to the sort of requirements. Is there a minimum number of devices that can be monitored by TechPulse? I suppose in relation to the 90-day trial we've put on the table, is there a minimum sort of number?
Yeah, I mean, we've got customers right the way from sort of around about sort of 30, 40, 50 users running TechPulse, right the way up to clients with 10,000 users plus running TechPulse. So it's everybody in between kind of thing. We've got people in, large NHS organisations in the UK, right the way through to Premiership football clubs, the slightly smaller user count and things like that. So it is very vast and very varied. There's no sort of...
But let's say that the reporting, it's not going to be so effective to look at, and it's not going to be so effective if you have a fleet which is less than 20, 25 devices. Let's say that the value drops as well. If you have a sizable fleet, and let's say that for the evaluation, the minimum that we would like to run it for is really 25 is really the minimum. I would prefer roughly 40, 50. And then we offer the license for up to 3 months and up to 500 devices. Rest can be treated on an exceptional basis, but that's the typical program is up to 3 months, up to 500 devices. But indeed, the minimum would be minimum would be 25. Okay,
so I presume for the purpose of sort of the proof of concept, if a customer wanted to do it on a particular set of users, then that would probably make sense, wouldn't it? Rather than roll it out, say, to an entire fleet. Or what would you recommend there, gents?
Typically, I mean, what's important is that the sample of devices which is being selected to run the evaluation is representative enough of the entire fleet. We say if it can be 10% of the entire fleet, that's fine. Then really it's on a case-by-case basis. And what's important for the evaluation, I would say, is really to understand prior to the evaluation, the use case or the pain points that you think you will be able to solve thanks to TechPulse. So that at the time we are running this evaluation, we are also able to understand what you would like to demonstrate, what you would like to see and get from the analytics. And therefore, we're going to be able to focus on that specific area and go a bit deeper with you in the analysis of the data and basically have a bit of a hand-holding on walking you through the analytics.
Okay, great. And I've got a question from Adrian here in relation to the existing HP fleet that they have. How old can it be, the existing equipment, to be monitored? They've got some aged equipment that they want to be able to monitor. But it's HP. It is HP equipment on the desktop.
So let's be careful. I mean, we are supporting, as I said, Mac OS, iOS, Android, and Windows 7, 8, and 10.
Right.
But we are not supporting servers.
Okay. No, but from the point of view of the sort of HP equipment, so as long as it's Windows 7 and above, then that's fine from the analytics, yeah?
hpdaas.com/requirements with an S.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And sometimes, quite often, Steve, just to add to that, would be, or to Adrian, sorry, would be, it's quite good to put the TechPulse agent on some of the existing devices, potentially if they're sort of aging devices, because then we can start to build out and work closely with you with the analytics from the pilot. We can then start seeing what the user profiles and personas within the different departments and organization look like you say, to sort of select the right devices and the right tools for the job when you come to do that hardware refresh as well, because that's what's the most important thing, is taking that data and then using it in a meaningful way to make those decisions about what device to give each individual within the business based upon their criteria, their applications, whether they're mobile, non-mobile, so on and so forth.
Yeah, okay. Great. Okay, I think that's all the questions. So quite a lot, I think, from my point of view on this is number 14 in INOOT, so I think that's the most questions. So that's really good. I think the demo was great. I know we're only scratching the surface, really, Joseph, but thanks for that. It was really good. So everyone, I'm just going to launch a poll now, because it'd be good to get some feedback from everyone. Also, if you are interested in the 90-day trial proof of concept, then please identify there. So it's important from our perspective with the polls. We get feedback so that we can fine-tune and improve the webinars moving forward. So Ryan, Joseph, really appreciate you taking the time out today. The technology worked. It's not failed us again. Zoom stepped up to the mark, so that's really good. So thanks for taking the time. I appreciate that. Everyone who's joined, hopefully you found that of use, benefit. If there are any more questions that you have, then please get in touch with your account manager at Servium, or drop me an email, and we'll answer those for you. So thank you for that. So that's it for today's INOOT. The next one we've got coming up on the 2nd of August is around HPE Cloud Volumes, which is an enterprise-grade multi-storage service for AWS and Azure. So we've got that in 2 weeks' time. If you're interested, then please register on our website. As I said earlier as well, the webinar video will be sent around. The link for that will be sent around. It'll also go onto our YouTube channel, where we've got lots of other content. There was an earlier webinar we ran on DaaS beginning of the year, which was more of an intro to DaaS. Obviously, we've done more of a deep dive today. So there are lots and lots of other content on our YouTube channel, as well as we've done an intro to DaaS as well, what we call a video explainer. That's on our website as well. So if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then please feel free. And also on our website, a lot of this content is published on our website as well. So the poll's launched. If you wouldn't mind taking a few seconds just to complete that, I really appreciate it, just to get some feedback. And as I said before, if you want to do the 90-day trial on TechPulse, then just highlight there, and between myself, Ryan and Joseph will arrange that for you. So once again, everyone, thank you for taking the time out on this Friday. Hopefully enjoyed it, and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Thank you, everyone.